Well, well, well. Hmm. Brett Yormark has said that the Big 12 schedule is supposed to come out on January 7th. So a lot of eyes are going to be on that day, wondering if Texas and Oklahoma are going to be on that Big 12 schedule. Because the bottom line is, they're still trying to get out even earlier. They can get out without a heavy exit fee if they leave in 2025. They're trying to get out earlier than that. Some say 2024. Some are saying before this season, and that's why the Big 12 football schedule hasn't been released. Now I'm seeing a lot of reports that that is the case. That is the reason why the Big 12 football schedule hasn't been released yet. We're going to find out 100%. No more speculating, no more guessing, no more thinking about it. We're going to know on January 7th. Now, maybe they decide and they give out a press release or something like that before January 7th. But by January 7th, we will know 100% if Texas and Oklahoma is still in the Big 12, at least for a couple more years, or at least for one more year. Who knows? Maybe they play 2023 and that's it. That's it. They're done after that. Who knows? January 7th. That's the date that you circle. It's the date that you circle. February 7th. Excuse me. Sorry. Why am I saying that happened like a month ago? Why am I saying January? Why didn't somebody told me and point that out? Come on, guys. Thought I could count on you for correcting me. Nope, you didn't correct me on that one. I had to correct myself. No, it's February. Excuse me, February. Anyways, the bottom line is, whenever the schedule is released, it might be February 2nd. Now that I'm thinking about it, it's either February 2nd or February 7th. Now January 7th doesn't mess me up. It's either February 2nd or February 7th. One of those two. Okay, one of those two. On that day, we will find out if Oklahoma and Texas will be on the schedule and how long they're going to stay. Maybe it's one more year, 2 years. I don't know. They are headed to the SEC. That's not changed. There's nothing wishy-washy going on about that. They are headed to the SEC. Question is, what year? Another thing that an Oklahoma source pointed this out. Oklahoma source. I don't know if it's both sides, but definitely, yeah, February 7th, Charles M. There you go. Better late than never, though. Better late than never. I got you. What I was hearing from Oklahoma sources is they were worried that the Big 12 would try to mess with them and screw them out of the Red River rivalry. I don't think they can do that, can they? I mean, that would be childish. That would be a little petty, in my opinion. They wouldn't do that, would they? Courtney says OU is on the Big 12 schedule in 2023. Which are you talking about? Oklahoma's schedule or somebody else's schedule? Because I haven't seen Big 12 schedule yet, and I think it's supposed to be released. I think it's February. The more I think about it, I think it's February 2nd. For some reason, January 7th messed me up. I think that was the date of a particular article that I was looking at, and it got burned in my brain. And I started thinking January 7th. I think it's February 2nd. Pretty sure it is. Bottom line is, we're going to find out, if Oklahoma and Texas will be on the schedule. And West Virginia fans are particularly, I'm not going to say particularly because everybody's interested, but I'm talking to a lot of West Virginia fans about this, and we're wondering if, TCU leaked their schedule out today. I did not know that. I will have to try to check that out after the show. Okay. Didn't know that. I might have to do a video on that tomorrow. That's good to know. And Wet Blanket is confirming that, so I'll check that out. I honestly didn't know that TCU leaked their schedule. So is it looking like Tomorrow, okay, tomorrow at 1 p.m. I knew they were going to make some type of spectacle out of it. So the TCU schedule that was released, I'm guessing that Oklahoma was on TCU's schedule, right? So they're staying at least one more year, I think. You still never know, guys. You still never know. Listen, another thing that I've heard is that both conferences have backup schedules just in case this goes sideways. I've heard that the SEC already has a backup schedule, and the Big 12 is working on a remake schedule, a second schedule, just in case things go sideways, because they're still negotiating. That's the bottom line. Oklahoma, Texas, they're still negotiating an early buyout for well, not buyout, but release, whatever you want to call it, to head to the SEC. So it could still happen. It could still happen. Now, the buyout would be tremendous. People aren't thinking about this part. The Big 12 is actually encouraging Oklahoma and Texas to leave early. Why would they do that? Well, because of the money. The money. The sooner Texas and Oklahoma leave, the more money the Big 12 gets from their buyouts. So it kind of helps balance out the loss. You can't count long term, because losing Oklahoma and Texas, that long term, that hurts the Big 12 exponentially. I'm talking about right here, right now, ripping off the Band-Aid. It would make up for it somewhat. So yes, the Big 12 is encouraging them to leave as soon as possible, but they're going to try to keep that amount as far as the buyout as high as possible. And another stipulation is they want Oklahoma and Texas to schedule their out of conference with Big 12 teams. I don't know if it's 2 games or just 1 game. I don't know. And I don't know for how long, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. I don't know. But those out of conference games, they want to be on Big 12 campuses. In other words, I guess true road games, something like that. It's pretty steep. But if you think about it, that's pretty smart by the Big 12, because they're trying to make up for the money, because it's, they're playing a big brand. Even though that big brand is in another conference, you're still playing them, and it gets you that exposure. It gets you your strength of schedule. That's another thing to think about, strength of schedule. So it also helps with strength of schedule. A lot of things that helps out. So yes, the Big 12 is, I don't want to say hoping, but I would say nudging. That's the best way I could word it. Not hoping, nudging Oklahoma and Texas to leave early, because that's a lot more money. The sooner they leave, the more money the Big 12 gets. Honestly, if I think about it, it's a win-win. If Oklahoma and Texas can afford that buyout, it's a win for them. They can get out of the Big 12 and get on to SEC play, get acclimated and used to it sooner rather than later. It's a win for the Big 12 because they're going to get in more money, because it's a earlier buyout. So I honestly think it's a win-win. It's a no-brainer for me. But I'm not the higher ups, so who knows? Quick reminder before we go on: make sure to hit the like button, guys. Those of you that are watching the replay, if you weren't able to catch the live show, if you're watching the replay, don't forget you hit the like button as well. All those likes and the comments in the comment section really help the video hit the YouTube algorithm, so I would greatly appreciate it. Simple, easy, fast, and free. And if you would like to donate to the channel or support the channel and your voice be heard, hit the super chat button. It's that little dollar sign that you see on the bottom right hand corner. Anything you see, let me get something off my screen here. Y'all can't see it. I can see it. Anything you put on the super chat is going to go on the screen right there where you see Golden Bluetooth. And let me put up my P.O. box. There we go. Don't forget to send gear to represent your team to Golden Bluetooth. See all the mini helmets, all of those. Every single one of them was sent in by viewers and subscribers. Shout out to everybody for representing their team. And not just mini helmets. I mean, you see signs, and right here, that's going to be closed in. The pinwheel of pennants coming back. Shout out to Wahoo Brad for sending in the Liberty and Virginia pennants. We might have to make multiple pinwheel of pennants. I think the first one is actually filled in, and we might have to start a second one. So keep them coming, and this is going to be definitely colorful. That's for sure. 100% colorful. There's the address. P.O. Box 360, Liberty, South Carolina, 29657. The only mini helmet that we're missing here from the Big 12 is Texas Tech, and I'm hearing a little birdie is telling me in my ear that it is on the way. So the Big 12, I take that back, will not be covered because we're missing 2 mini helmets. Texas Tech is on the way. Cincinnati will be the only mini helmet that will be missing. So there is the address. Now, for the Big 12, like I said earlier, I think it's a win-win. I think it's win-win. Oklahoma and Texas, they can get out. They can get used to the SEC as soon as possible. And they can – it's going to be a shift in recruiting as well. So just getting acclimated to everything involved, not just SEC play, but recruiting in the SEC. And then for the Big 12, that's more money because that's an earlier exit. Now, what I was starting to talk about earlier and just kind of rabbit trailed, I don't know why, but I did, was West Virginia fans. And I know every fan base in the Big 12 is interested in this because this is not going to be a round-robin schedule. The way these schedules have been for the past 12, 13 years is round-robin, right? So pretty much you don't know the dates, but you know who you're playing and where you're playing every year because you're like, all right, in this year, we went on the road to here, 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 and here. So next year, those will be home games, and the 4 home games will be 4 road games, and vice versa. It just flip-flops. You don't know the dates, but you know who you're playing, and you know where you'll be playing them. Not anymore. Not anymore. Round robin is literally impossible. There's not enough dates on the calendar to do a not red robin, round robin. Y'all remember those commercials, by the way? Red robin, yum. Anyways, started thinking about that now. Round robin. Let's get back on track here. Round robin. So that's not going to happen anymore. So, yeah, a lot of people are going to be wondering about the schedule because I haven't had this feeling in a while as far as wondering what's going to be on the schedule. Seriously, it has been like clockwork. Everybody in the comment section that's a Big 12 fan, you know what I'm talking about. We haven't been, who are we going to play? Where's it going to be? You knew who you were going to play and where. You just didn't know, when. Where was it going to fall? Was this going to be a back-to-back road trip? You knew the road trips. You knew who you were going to play at home. But now it's changing. Now it's, all right, are we going to get the tougher teams? Are we going to have an easier schedule? A lot of wondering, and it's going to be different year to year. It's not like 1 year, okay, we got these guys at home and these guys on the road. So that means next year those guys will be on the road, and then these guys will be at home. Completely different. So it's kind of exciting. There's a certain buzz in the Big 12 just based on scheduling. Based on scheduling and the fact of the unknown. A lot of people say, including myself, one of the biggest fears in life is the fear of the unknown. And it's true. Most people want to know what's going to happen before it happens. And the fear of the unknown is one of the biggest fears there is. Well, with scheduling, it's not really a fear. It's more of an excitement. We're excited. The Big 12 is excited because we haven't had a schedule to where we already know who we're going to play and where we're going to play, just not when. Now that's completely changed. So, this is a very, very good thing for the Big 12. It is going to hurt. I'm not trying to diminish the fact of Texas and Oklahoma leaving. And I saw a comment earlier in the comment section saying everybody's trying to dump on Oklahoma. What about Texas? I've noticed that too. I'm trying to keep it even because they're both leaving at the same time. It's not just Oklahoma and Texas. No, it's Oklahoma and Texas. They are both leaving. So if you're asking me, I don't know why people are focusing on Oklahoma. I really don't, unless something came out that Oklahoma started this whole thing. But I highly doubt that. I really do. So I really wouldn't know the answer to that question. It's both of them. And Texas, no offense, Oklahoma fans, but Texas is the bigger brand. So to be honest with you, if you are going to focus your aggression or your trolling on a particular brand, to me, it would actually make more sense to do it on Texas if you're going to do that. To me, I try to keep it equal because both of them are leaving. So that really doesn't make sense. But to your point, yes, I've seen it too. People are focusing on Oklahoma and just saying Oklahoma and Texas. I don't know why. Good point you brought up there. Pepsi. Got it. Oh, by the way, we have our we don't have it yet, but we're working on a merch store. We have all of the inventory we need. We have the machinery needed to make the merch. So our merch store will be up. I don't want to give a timeline because I don't know exactly, but I think within the next month or so. And a must sell in the merch. It is coming. It has been confirmed, people. The checklist t-shirt, the checklist hoodie. It's coming, guys. It is coming. The checklist that you hear on every single, well, not every single, back in the day I didn't do it, but since we started the checklist, on every single Golden Blue Dude video since we started the checklist, that will be shirt. I think it's going to be a good seller. I can't wait for the merchandise store. And the difference between this one and the previous one we had is prices are going to be much lower because we cut out the middleman. Instead of charging you $30 for a t-shirt, we'll be able to charge you much, much less, more like 15, 20 bucks. So it's going to be, I'm excited about that. I can't wait to see a bunch of people wearing checklist t-shirts. That's going to be awesome. Anybody, real quick, I know this is not in the title, but why not, right? Is anybody going to a game that they're really, really excited about this year? Of course, I'm going to the Backyard Brawl again. I'm excited. I went last year, and even though we lost, it was an amazing game, an amazing atmosphere. I was truly blown away by how many West Virginia fans were there. Out of almost 70,000, there was at least 20, 25,000 West Virginia fans. There will not be even 10,000 Pitt fans in Morgantown in 2023. I guarantee you that. And I am 100% confident that West Virginia will beat Pitt comfortably. And I think Pitt will be a good team in 2023. I really do. They're going to be another 8-4, 9-3 type of team. But you're just going to have to flip that win to a loss this year, Pitt, because you're not beating West Virginia in Morgantown. It's not going to happen. Our offense is going to be much better, but our defense, I just don't know. I'm not confident enough to say that we're going to be that much of a better team. QT says Memphis versus Boise State. Is that in Memphis or is that in Idaho? That would be an interesting game to go to. I would love to see that. The road opener for West Virginia at Penn State. I'm not looking forward to that. I think okay, that'll be you know what? I might be able to go to that game, QT. I'll look into it. Memphis is not that far away. I'll see how the prices are. And I might be able to come over there and hang out with you. That's a good matchup too for a group of 5 matchup. And will the Liberty Bowl be renovated by then? I think it's going to take a couple years, but man, I really want to see the Liberty Bowl whenever it's renovated. It's supposed to be really, really state of the art. Like Memphis this is one thing that not a lot of people are talking about. I've done a couple of videos on this, but Memphis is really making a big time attempt to trying to grab the eyes of a Power 5 conference. They really are. The renovations. What's up, Tim Franklin? Haven't seen you in a while, man. Glad you could stop by. But Memphis, if y'all haven't checked it out, look up the renovations. As far as the draft that they pulled up for the Liberty Bowl, it looks absolutely amazing. So Memphis is definitely making the effort to try to get, some attention from a power conference. I would say the Big 12, but the Big 12, the problem with that is the TV deal with the Big 12 doesn't guarantee any type of revenue bump if they bring in more group of 5 teams. They can get a decent bump, not like significant bump, but a decent bump with a Power 5 team, depending on the brand. But unfortunately, in the TV deal, bringing in any type of group of 5 team isn't going to help the revenue situation. So as far as choices for Memphis goes, the ACC, but that's only if those teams break the grant of rights and the ACC needs to backfill and redo the grant of rights. So that's just, I don't know. And I like Memphis. I think they have a great brand. They've had some pretty good football teams here recently. It seems like they're building something over there. They're renovating this stadium over there. Memphis. It's supposed to be one of the best, if not the best, as far as group of 5 stadiums. So Who knows? I don't know. I don't think the SEC would be interested in Memphis. I really, really don't. Charles M says great national footprint. Yeah, I would agree with that. Great national footprint. But it's all about the money. How much money would how much money would they draw in? Uh no, the shelf isn't about to implode. The mini helmets are actually very, very light. Very, very light. We're good. It's lasted 3 months. It'll last until I can reinforce it. There is a slight bow. See, everybody knows it. You're not stating anything new. There is a slight bow in the shells, but I'm telling you, those mini helmets are super, super light. We're good. But it would be hilarious if they broke in the middle of the live stream. I would laugh. I'm not gonna lie. I would actually laugh if that happened. But we're gonna reinforce it. It'll be fine. But I like Memphis. I like their brand, but I just don't think they bring in enough money for a Power Five. I think the best chance was the last go around whenever the Big 12 brought in BYU, Cincinnati, Houston, and UCF. Honestly, it could have been an either or um, between Houston and Memphis. I would have chose Memphis. No offense to Houston fans, and it's really really tight in my opinion. But I think I would have chosen Memphis just by a little bit, especially knowing that they're renovating the Liberty Bowl. And when you go to the state of Texas, I know Houston just built a new stadium and it looks really, really good. It's small though. It's like 40,000, something like that. But it is nice. It is nice. But Houston, Memphis, I would maybe it's the Dana Holgerson hate in my mind. Maybe if I could take that out of my mind, slingshot it, maybe I would be able to weigh that comparison more, and maybe Houston would check the box. I don't know. But the way I'm thinking is like, okay, the Big 12 already has TCU, Baylor, well, Texas is going to the SEC, Texas Tech. That's 3 brands. And I know Houston is in like the second or third largest TV market. I know that. I realize that. But I mean, how much of that TV market are they really grabbing? You know, I don't know. I don't know. I'd really have to sit down and look at the numbers. But if you ask me point blank, gold and blue, dude, if you had the choice between Memphis or Houston, whenever they brought in those 4 teams, I would have taken Memphis. I really would. I really would. It actually kind of surprised me that they brought in Houston, but it is what it is. They always have their reasons, and we'll see how the Big 12 looks like after Texas and Oklahoma leave. Jason M, thank you for the $2 donation. Says Country Roads, take me home. Exactly right, and Country Roads will take me home early September into Morgantown to watch the backyard brawl. I'm very excited about that. I was very excited about last year's. It just didn't work out the way we wanted to. You know what the cool thing was? A lot of YouTubers that I know and actually watch and hang out with, we're doing live shows and we're talking about the backyard brawl, score updates, and actually watching the game. So I was watching the game, and then I would check the YouTube channel. It was almost like 2 different worlds. I knew what I was watching, but it was fun to watch it on YouTube as well. Does that sound stupid or what? But it really was fun. It was fun. The seats weren't great, but they are all right. They were in the upper deck. I don't know if y'all are familiar with the setup of Heinz Field, but we were in the upper deck of the end zone. There's only one end zone that has an upper deck. It's almost like a horseshoe. So on one side, it's kind of empty. It barely connects, like sliver. And then on the other side, it fully connects with an upper deck. We were on the upper deck. The hilarious thing was before the game, I'm guessing the normal student section for Pitt is in the upper end zone. So when we went to sit down, like me and my brother were talking, and we looked at the section and it said, this is going to be a West Virginia section, and I can't explain how it worded it, but it made you believe that you were sitting with fellow West Virginia fans. So we get up in the upper end zone, and it's just a bunch of Pitt students, and I'm like, holy crap, what have we gotten ourselves into? We're going to get into some fights. Well, turns out, I'm guessing that's the usual student section for Pitt, but not that night. There was like, I don't know, 5 ushers that had to come out and tell. Seriously, I would say 5,000 students were right there, and they had to get down, go to the sideline that was to the right of us in that upper deck. So I'm guessing they switched. I'm guessing they switched the student section for Pitt. That was hilarious to watch. And yes, we were in the middle of West Virginia fans. However, I will say this. A lot of people don't know this. I haven't talked about this story, but I'm going to talk about it real quick. There was a few Pitt fans around us, and we almost got into a fight. Seriously, we almost got into a fight. I'm not going to get into detail, but it was weird. It was a little weird, to be honest with you. But yeah, we ended up almost getting into a fight. Didn't quite happen, but almost. Still a good time. Still a good time. But most of the Pitt fans that we saw there were cool. There was just these. How many was there? 3. There was 3 of them that were just being super. Anyways, game was cool. Can't wait to go to Morgantown and watch West Virginia beat Pitt, but only 6-6. We're not going to be a much better team than what we were last year. Excited about the schedule being released, though. Hopefully they'll cut us a break. I'm hoping that they're going to cut us a break because there is a worst case scenario in this scheduling thing because there's no round robin. You're not guaranteed to play everybody because that's impossible. There's not enough weeks in the college football season to play everybody. But what if they give you like the toughest schedule possible? Like you play all the toughest teams in the Big 12, and the toughest of the tough ones you have to play on the road. I am a little worried about that. So until the schedule is actually out and my worst fears aren't in front of me, because I don't think it will, but it's still in the back of my head. What if they screw West Virginia and give us the toughest schedule possible and pad some other people's schedule? I don't know. The fear's still there. So I can't wait till the schedule's released. That way I can take a deep breath. And listen, I'm hoping that they don't screw us out of the home game against Texas. Last year, like I mentioned earlier, it's set up to this year. Okay, Texas, since I was talking about Texas. Last year was a road game for Texas. This year would be a home game for Texas. The year after that, road game Texas. The year after that, home game for Texas. And it just keeps rotating. And it's like that for every team. If you played a team on the road last year, then this year you're getting them at home. If you played a team at home last year, then this year you're going to have to go on the road. That's how it is. So I'm really hoping that they don't screw West Virginia out of a home game against Texas. Talk is Pitt. The reason I didn't talk about, well, we didn't fight. I said we almost fight. We almost fought. But the reason I didn't talk about it is, number one, I didn't really think about it. Number two, me and my brother were like, let's just try to avoid that subject. It is what it is. It wasn't, whenever I say fight, it was, we didn't fight. Let me be clear. We did not fight. That is not what I'm saying. I'm saying we almost fought. There was some yelling and some shoving and some pulling. That's about it. All right. It wasn't a fight. It was not. Fists were not thrown. Knees were not thrown. Flying elbows were not thrown. Suplexes were not handed out. It was not a fight. All right. It was an almost fight. But kind of reminded you that you were at the backyard brawl. Tensions were high. And a scuffle. How about that? It was a scuffle. Nobody got ejected or anything like that. Jason M., thank you for the $2 donation. Said, would love to see Michigan versus West Virginia at the Big House. Going to believe it. Not me. Not because I have anything against Michigan, but you guys would beat the snot out of us right now, just like Penn State will. Boom to the Sooner. Thank you for the $5 donation. Says, shout out to my Sooners. Yes, shout out to the Sooners. Beating down Alabama. Shout out to my Sooners basketball team. Drop kicking number 2 Alabama Crimson Tide. And West Virginia beating Auburn, Boomer Sooner. Yeah, absolutely. The Big 12 really had a good showing in basketball, but we all knew that was going to happen. The SEC thinks, oh man, some of our teams are really, really good. Maybe we're starting to get as good as the Big 12 in basketball. No, you guys own football. The Big 12 still owns basketball. So just, take a break, drink your beer, take your naps, and wait for football season because right now is the Big 12's time. I was very happy to see that. The Big 12 went 7-3 against the SEC in basketball. And I know SEC fans don't care about basketball, it's all about football. I understand that. But us Big 12 fans, we need something to fall back on, especially when your team went 5-7 last year. It was horrible, horrible. And honestly, wet blanket, if you're in the comments section, sorry, but I have to say this. Shame on Oklahoma State for losing to West Virginia at home. That should not have happened. How y'all lost to West Virginia at home is beyond me. I know weather played a factor, but good gosh, West Virginia was terrible. You can't do that. And here's the crazy thing. It was so bad. It was so bad that Oklahoma State, think about this. Oklahoma State went to the Big 12 championship in 2021. Did they win it or did Baylor win it? Who won it? I think Oklahoma State did win the Big 12 championship, didn't they? So in 2021, they have a great year, and either they won the Big 12 championship or they were the runner-up. This year, they go 7-5 and lose to West Virginia. Now Mike Gundy's on the hot seat. Yeah, that's how bad that loss was. Baylor won. That's okay. Runner-up. And then Oklahoma State beat Notre Dame, I think, in the bowl game. But so Oklahoma State gets to the Big 12 championship in 2021, and they beat Notre Dame in the bowl game. Terrific year. Fast forward to this year, 7-5, which is not a losing season. They got to a bowl. They lost the bowl, but they got to a bowl. But the Oklahoma State fans remembered losing to a bad West Virginia team at the end of the season. That's what everybody was remembering. I understand that, but don't knee jerk. Mike Gundy has been there for a long time. I know he's never won the Big 12 at Oklahoma State, but he's won many. He's had many double-digit win seasons. I think he's a good head coach. And honestly, it would be kind of cool if Oklahoma State did fire Mike Gundy, and the timing was as such that Neil Brown doesn't get the job done, just like we don't think he will, and West Virginia finally realizes it's time to move on from him, and they fire him, and West Virginia picks up Mike Gundy. Stranger things have happened, guys. Stranger things have happened, and I would take Mike Gundy at West Virginia. I would, especially after having to deal with what we've dealt with. Shout out to everybody in the chat, by the way. You guys have been awesome tonight. We got a nice crowd, people commenting, a few super chats. Make sure to hit the like button if you haven't already. And if you're watching the replay, even if you're not watching this live, hitting that like button helps this video hit the YouTube algorithm. That's what helps it get views, and that's what it's all about. If you'd like to donate and you'd like to see your comment on the screen, just like Boom to the Sooner, just hit that little super chat button. It's a little dollar sign on the bottom right-hand corner underneath the comments section. Anything you put in that super chat is going to go on the screen just like Boom to the Sooner. And trust me, us college football YouTubers greatly appreciate all that. Well, we always appreciate the donations, but in grind season, aka the off season, we especially appreciate it because yeah, the views do go down, so it does get a little more difficult. So we appreciate all your support in that regards. So is anybody else, if you're a Big 12 fan in the comment section, anybody else concerned that maybe you might get screwed whenever this schedule comes out? Because it is possible. I don't think they're gonna screw anybody outside of, I mean, it's possible that they could screw a Houston, a Cincinnati, or a UCF, not because they're the new teams in, just because that they don't have to play themselves, or maybe in Iowa State or West Virginia. Excuse me, we were bad last year and we don't have to play ourselves. So just the sheer fact that we don't have to play ourselves might automatically make our schedule tougher. I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm really hoping that we don't get screwed on our schedule. And I'm really hoping that they don't take that Texas home game away from us. I'm really, really wanting that. If we're looking like a halfway decent team and we have a winning record going into that Texas game, hopefully it's earlier in the season. I'll go to the backyard brawl and I will go to the Texas game. I'm really wanting to do that. By the way, if you're around Morgantown, whenever the backyard brawl is happening, stop on by. Even if you're not going to go to the game, all right, doesn't have to. You don't have to do that in order for us to hang out. I will be out there tailgating, depending on the kickoff. Hopefully, it's a 7:30 kickoff, just like it was last year. But even if it's a 3:30 kickoff, not a noon kickoff, if they do that to Morgantown, I'll not be happy because they did that to us in the Black Diamond Trophy rivalry. We played Virginia Tech at noon. We won the game, great, but I mean, come on, that game has to be at least at 3:30. And then when we went on the road to Virginia Tech, it was a Thursday night game. Are you freaking kidding me? So the backyard brawl was a 7:30 game this past year. I'm hoping that it's at least 3:30 this year in Morgantown. But anyways, my point is, if you're near Morgantown, if you live in Pittsburgh or Wheeling or wherever that's close, stop on by. Stop on by. We'll have a canopy, and trust me, you'll know where we are, and we will be broadcasting the live show all day during the backyard brawl. So stop on by and say hey to Golden Blue Dude, and we'll talk some college football. You don't have to be a West Virginia fan. I'm telling you, I'm obsessed with college football. That's why I have this YouTube channel. I've told this story several times. The whole reason, I know, Shooter. I know. I miss my live calling shows. Whenever I get my laptop back, I promise we will do the live calling shows again. I'm still waiting on that thing to get fixed. Now, everything happened all at once. So the laptop charger went out and it's getting fixed. And then the charger for this phone went out. So I've been having issues being consistent with my live shows because I can't keep a charge on my phone because I can't plug a cord in. It has to be remote. And I did not realize how much more difficult it is to keep, not to charge, but to keep a charge when you do it remotely. It's easy to charge. Yes, all you have to do is keep it on there. But try that driving. It slides everywhere. If you have a cord and you're driving, plug it in, you're good to go. It's charging while you're listening to the radio. But if you have to do it on that pad wirelessly, it slides everywhere. It's almost impossible to charge your phone, your cell phone, in the car. So that's why it's been inconsistent with my live shows. But I can't wait to get my laptop. I might just buy a new one with income taxes. I've thought about that. I might just get a new laptop. That one is not that great. I mean, it gets the job done, but it's not that great. Anyways, I digress. Any games that anybody is looking forward to in particular? I know me as a West Virginia fan, I'm looking forward to the backyard brawl. Hopefully, the home Texas game. I'm. You know what? We can watch Oklahoma go into the SEC and not have to worry or have to regret never beating Oklahoma in the Big 12 because we finally got the job done this year. So now it's like, no, let them go. We got our win. We got that monkey off our back. So just kind of a big sigh of, I mean, it would be nice to go on the road and beat Oklahoma, but we got the win last year, and that was very, very important. And whenever I did that live show, I did not realize how happy and how big a relief that was going to be because at that point in time, West Virginia had a terrible record. I was not expecting West Virginia to win, and it just seemed like the season was just trash. There was not even a point. I still did the live show, and if you watched the live show with me, you saw I got happy again, even though West Virginia was terrible. Even though we basically knew that West Virginia wasn't making a bowl and this was a throwaway season, that win against Oklahoma made my season. It made my season just because now as a West Virginia fan, when Oklahoma, whether it's this year, 2024, or 2025, whenever Oklahoma does finally make that jump, we got the win. And for Oklahoma fans, I know you would have preferred going into the SEC, never have losing to West Virginia in the Big 12. But hey, one loss, that's not bad. Even if we win one or two more times, you definitely have the record. So definitely nothing to be ashamed of. That's something that Texas can't say. I'm not sure if I think Texas does lead the series now because of Neil Brown. Whenever Neil Brown got to West Virginia, I think West Virginia was up by one game. So the series is either tied or Texas is up by one game. It's been a really, really close series uh, between. Oh yeah, Roger Dodger. A lot of people were talking about the TCU schedule leaked earlier in the live show. But what was I saying? Oh yeah, the series between Texas and Oklahoma in the Big 12 has been great. You never know. It's turned into a rivalry. It really had, and they don't like what for whatever reason Texas fans hate West Virginia fans doing the horns down more than Oklahoma fans, more than Texas A&M fans, more than Oklahoma State fans. You know, all the teams in the Big 12 and former big teams that were formerly in the Big 12. And what I heard was like, you know, they're family. They can do it. What? I never understood that. And I'm not saying this means for everybody in the Texas fan base. There's some Texas fans that don't feel that way. But I've talked to some Texas fans that were like that. And I'm just like, please explain that to me. Please explain that to me. So, man. No, I don't think that's going to be a loss for Colorado. I really don't because I know it's a road game for Colorado, but seriously, this is a completely different team this year. It is nowhere close. I mean, last year's Colorado team was basically a high school team playing college football. And you have to remember this with TCU, okay? They did not have a good defense last year. It was not good. It's not going to be good this year. They relied solely on their offense, and how much did they lose on that offense? And then you look at how they won the games, comeback after comeback after comeback, barely winning, miracle here, miracle there. The runoff field goal against Baylor, the 2 pick sixes against Michigan. I'm telling you, that's why I said the biggest shocker for the 2022 college football season could be TCU going from getting to the national championship to not making the playoffs. And I'm not saying that TCU is going to be bad forever. This is going to be a major rebuild for TCU this year. They'll be back. They're recruiting at a good level under Sonny Dykes. They will be back, but I'm sincerely, this is sincere. I'm not trash talking TCU. I'm trying to warn TCU fans. All right, just lower your expectations. If you get to a bowl, be happy because I think it's going to be a 5-7 season. John Teal, thank you for the $2 donation. Says just a heads up, those hand signs in Cali don't. Oh, like the horns down. I'm trying to figure out how they could take that the wrong way. Like, I'm not trash talk. I'm legitimately. So don't do this in Cali. Why is that? Explain that one to me. I don't. Or do you mean victory upside down? Like, or is it a gang? Oh, is it a gang affiliation? Oh, okay. Uh, I'm telling y'all, TCU's taking a massive step backwards, and Colorado is taking a huge step forward. I think people are still thinking about the Colorado from last year and how bad they were, and you know TCU got to the national championship. It's not. Yeah, this mate. Yep. Just in case you're one, somebody asked me in the comment section. I'm not promoting it because I'm not getting paid for it. When they pay me, then I'll promote it. But okay, I'm trying to figure out what gang that would be. Maybe a Mexican mafia type of sign or MS-13, something like that, because it looks like it forms an M like that. I'm not sure. But good heads up. I'm not. Oh, Jason, I'm going to be here all season, man. I'm telling you, Colorado is making a bowl at least 6-6, and it's almost a lock for me that they're going to go on the road and beat TCU. That's how big of a step back, and how much better I think Colorado will be. That's just my opinion. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Maybe there's something that I'm not seeing, but Deion Sanders. Listen, I know Deion Sanders is getting a little bit of flack because he just brought in his son to quarterback at Colorado. His son is a good quarterback though. He was a 4-star out of high school, or maybe he wasn't a 4-star out of high school, but right now he's rated as a 4-star transfer. That's a high rating. I'm telling you right now. Colorado will have to, or not Colorado, but the guys that came from Jackson State will have to adjust to the speed of Power 5. I'm not denying that. But he has a lot of talent over there, and I expect Colorado to make a bowl and for TCU to possibly miss a bowl. I'm telling you. If I'm wrong, like I was last year, I will admit it, and I will say what was I thinking, all that stuff. But last year I had a pretty good preseason prediction. The only two big misses that I have was TCU and West Virginia. But I correctly predicted Michigan State to go from a double-digit win team and beating Pitt in the Peach Bowl to missing a bowl. That's exactly what happened. I predicted Kansas to either snip a bowl or make a bowl. They made a bowl. I think my final record for them was 5-7, but it was close, was my point. And a lot of people were like, no, that's a 2-win team. No, Kansas had talent, and Kansas will make a bowl again. I think they'll be 7-5 this year, a little bit better. I really, really like Lance Leipold over there at Kansas. He's doing a great job. Another one, Kansas State was my dark horse to make the Big 12 championship. That's exactly what happened. This year in the Big 12, I think TCU takes a big drop. I think they missed a bowl at 5-7. Texas Tech and Texas. Those are the two that I'm picking to make the Big 12 championship, guys. Texas, if Quinn Ewers stays healthy, and I think he will, if Quinn Ewers stays healthy, listen to me, guys. If Quinn Ewers stays healthy, Texas has a chance to go undefeated. And if they don't go undefeated, their only loss will be on the road to Alabama. Now, to me, horns down all day, every day. I do not endorse Texas, nor do I kiss their rear end. I just call it the way I see it. Last year, I predicted Texas to go 8-4 while everybody else was kissing their rear end. And I'm like, what are y'all thinking? They're 8-4. They're going to be a decent team, but they're not that good. A lot of people are saying, oh, they're going to win the Big 12. Oh, they're going to make the playoffs. No, they're not. 8-4. This year, yes, they're getting to the Big 12 championship, and I think they will win the Big 12. And I do think Texas has a chance to make the playoffs this year. Now, that kind of goes back into how this whole video started as to why the Big 12 schedule has been delayed as far as a possibility that Texas and Oklahoma could be headed to the SEC immediately now, 2023. Well, like you've seen in the comment section, and I will check it out because I didn't know about it before the video or I talked about it. Apparently, TCU has leaked their schedule, and Oklahoma is on it. That doesn't mean that it's ironclad, because I've heard that both the Big 12 and the SEC, they both have backup schedules just in case that happens. So when these schedules are released, it still doesn't mean that that's exactly what's going to happen. Be on high alert up until, I'd say, late July. It could still happen, okay? It could still happen. So the reason I said that, as it relates to what I said earlier, I'm picking Texas to make the Big 12 championship and win the Big 12. And I think they beat Texas Tech. I either have them going undefeated or one loss. However, if Texas and Oklahoma end up in the SEC in 2023, that would be at the worst possible time for Texas, because I think Texas would actually get derailed in the SEC this year. Not because I think the SEC is just that much better. It's a big time change. It's a big time switch in traveling. It would affect them. So if both Oklahoma and Texas were to immediately go to the SEC, I would have Texas going from getting to the Big 12 championship, one loss or undefeated, to maybe a 7-5 or 8-4 season over there in the SEC, just for the sheer culture shock over there in the SEC. So if I were a Texas fan, I would hope that you do not go to the SEC until after this year. I think this is the year that Texas can really do some damage in the Big 12, make some noise, and get to the playoffs. Boom to the Sooner. Thank you for another $5 donation. Greatly appreciate it. What teams do you think will be in the running to make the Big 12 title game in the last 3 or 4 weeks of the season? That's a good question because my pick for the Big 12 championship is Texas versus Texas Tech, right? So there's going to be some other teams in the running there towards the end of the season, last 3 or 4 weeks. I do think Oklahoma is one of them. I have Oklahoma finishing 8-4, finishing 3rd or 4th overall in the Big 12, and that's with 14 members, so that's pretty good. So, yes, I do think Oklahoma will be in the running for an extended amount of time, maybe up till the very end. Maybe they're a 9-3 team and they get knocked out in the last, week or the week before that. So I have Texas and Texas Tech making the Big 12 championship. But I do think Oklahoma will be in the conversation in those last 3 or 4 weeks. And I also think that Baylor will also be in the conversation in those last 3 or 4 weeks. I think Shapen is going to be a much better quarterback this year. I trust Dave Aranda to develop him, and I think Baylor's in for a significant bounce back here. I think it's going to be 1 Texas, 2 Texas Tech, 3 Baylor, and 4 Oklahoma. Is there one more team that I could see possibly being in the conversation in the last 3 or 4 weeks? How about we do process of elimination? West Virginia, absolutely not. We'll be knocked out by week 6 or 7, maybe earlier than that. So West Virginia, no. UCF, no. I think they're going to be a decent team, but it's just too big of a change for right now. Cincinnati, same reason, no. And Luke Fickell is off to Wisconsin, so they don't even have Luke Fickell to lead them into the Big 12. Houston, absolutely not. Nate Harsin is a train wreck. He doesn't believe in defense. They'll be knocked out by the first game of the Big 12. They'll be out of the race. Let's see. BYU, I have them as a minimum pack, maybe 8-4, something like that. So it's possible, but I'm going to say no. I think they finished strong, but I think they're knocked out of Big 12 title contention early on in the season. So no. Okay, so those are the 4 new teams. No. Iowa State, no. Better bowl team, yes. Big 12 title contender, no. Kansas State, no. They were my dark horse to get to the Big 12 championship and possibly win it this year. I think they take a significant step backwards on defense, and that's what they rely on. I think they'll have good offense, but no, I don't think Kansas State will be in the running. Kansas, they're going to be another good story, but no, they're not going to be in the Big 12 title contention by then. Oklahoma State, no. Oklahoma State's going to be bad, really, really bad. Sorry, wet blanket, bad. You're not going to be good next year. Is that all the teams? Did I get all of them? I think so. I did talk about UCF. No, I think UCF's going to be a 7-5, 8-4 type team, and I think they'll be knocked out of Big 12 contention relatively early. So decent team, but no, they won't be in the conversation towards the end. So the teams that I think will be in the conversation towards the end: Texas, Texas Tech, Baylor, Oklahoma. Was there another team? I thought I had one more team in there. Dadgummit. No, maybe I didn't. No, I don't think I did. Maybe BYU. Maybe BYU as the 15. I think they'll be decent. Anyways. All right, guys, we're going to wrap it up. I got to get off here. Tomorrow's school. Got to do the whole, early school run. I honestly only planned to do this one for 30 minutes, but I was having so much fun, and you guys were reacting so well that it just kept going. And the weird thing is, this can't be right. I'm going to take a screenshot right now so you'll know. I'm going to post a screenshot, all right? You see, it says live 54 minutes, 39 seconds, or whatever it was, timestamped. I'm going to post this. Whenever I started this live show, I was at 57% on my phone. It is still at 57%. That makes no sense at all. It should be down in like the 20s. So I'm going to be interested to see whenever I get off here if it drops, tanks or whatever, because that's going to be stuck or something. That doesn't make any sense. Anyways, appreciate everybody stopping by. Thank you for hanging out with me on a Monday night. You could be doing anything else, but you chose to hang out with Golden Blue Dude. We appreciate it. Make sure to hit the like button on the way out if you haven't already. It helps these videos get suggested by YouTube and gets us more views. And we greatly, greatly appreciate it. That's it for tonight. Stay safe. There's a big old ice storm over in the Midwest. So if you're in the Dallas area, if you're in the Fort Worth area, Oklahoma City area, Little Rock, Arkansas, that area, be careful. A lot of ice going on over there. Major, major ice storm. So be careful, guys. All right. Y'all have a good rest of your Monday night. If I have enough battery charge tomorrow on my phone, we will do another live show. It just all depends. But you already know, regular videos on the way. At least 2 more. Y'all have a good Monday night. We will see you tomorrow. Golden Blue Dude out.